Hey, welcome back to 7 Minute Stories here on the 167. I am here with Olivia Baken.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Doing good.
And you're going to tell us a little bit about your story today. So let's just start at the beginning. Tell me a little bit about where you grew up, where you're coming from.
Well, I grew up on a farm with two parents together. They've been married their whole life, my whole life. I grew up at a farm, and then I moved to town. I went to a Catholic school, which is something quite different from what I go to now, like in a way. I was raised and went to school in a Catholic setting, and I kind of got this idea that God was kind of mean. Even at a young age, I was kind of like fearful of him. Like, if I do something bad, I'll go to hell. Like, that was just the way I felt about it. And prayers to me back then were kind of just like the Our Fathers and the Hail Marys, the prayers in the books that you read and you learn in school. And so I never really got a close relationship with God as a child. And so later on, when I got a little bit older, I started to test alcohol. And with alcohol and with God, I kind of had to choose one because I felt like God hated me if I was drinking. And so I kind of stopped praying, even the prayers that I hadn't learned, and kind of pushed away God and took alcohol as like my forefront for several years. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
me
kind of
as
a crazy thing where it's like it does drive you to that, where it's like, well, I can do both. And really it's like, well, now I'm ashamed. And so I just start to inch my way out of there.
Yeah, there was like I got confirmed in high school, like in the Catholic religion, and that's when I kind of stopped going completely. Though it felt like I lost my relationship with God, for sure. I was ashamed from the alcohol. I drank more. I drank differently than anybody else I knew. Like I was a passed out drunk in high school, and until I quit drinking, that's the way life was for me. And God definitely did not have a place in that. You know, I had the please help me gods, like save me this once and I'll start going to church again or things like that. But I never really sat down and like prayed to God as even in my 20s, I still didn't really understand how to have a relationship with God or my religion.
How long did this go on?
Well, I got confirmed when I was 17. That's basically when I quit going to church. And then I started to try to quit drinking in my 20s. I got 3 DUIs in a matter of like 2 years. Well, 3 years. And so I started to try to quit drinking. And while I quit, I started hearing things about like higher powers, like you gotta have faith, you have to have something spiritual, you have to have something. And I started to like kind of I was trying out different religions.
Like, I gotta have something.
Yeah, and then I started thinking, okay, I'm shopping. This is kind of awkward because I go with all my friends to all these different churches. And I did go to a Christian church, and I thought, this is really weird. Like, it's fun. Like, that's the first time I actually had gone to a Christian church and, heard everybody singing and just I loved it. I remember loving it and wanting to go back. And this is when I was in treatment for alcohol. But then I got out and, I didn't have a strong spiritual, ground at that point. And I was back out drinking and, kind of forgot everything about God. Because, again, I still had this idea that God hated me. It was embedded in my, God didn't want anything to do with me because I was drinking and killing myself and I was ashamed, and I eventually it closed off everybody in my family. Like, I didn't really talk to anybody. I did get married, but I was in an abusive relationship, and he was Catholic also, but he didn't go to church at all. And so, I didn't have any kind of pressures to go because my family, who had been going, was no longer around, and his family didn't really practice anything. And so, alcohol was my God first until I was in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
when did that all kind of come to a head?
it's crazy. It's so crazy cool. Well, I mean, like, I kept going in and out of treatments, and I started learning, like, how to talk to God. Like, I didn't know God. Like, couldn't picture God, couldn't think of God. But I started to talk to something. Like, that was just my first, like, leap of faith, like, blind faith. Like, okay, I'm going to sit here and they say talk to somebody. Like, and so I'm just going to talk and try to do this. And so I did. I started talking to God, and like, quite often it was pretty cool. So I did learn how to have a relationship with God, but then alcohol got me again. Like, the devil was like, it's after you all the time. It's like sitting in the backyard doing sit-ups trying to get you, you know, like,
he's just waiting for it.
Yeah. And any kind of open opportunity, it was back to alcohol, goodbye God for me. But I finally, a year ago, I got really sick. I got really, really sick. I had to go to the hospital. My husband took me, and I walked in there, and I thought it was just going to be another one of my drunk detox moments and then go home. And then I ended up waking up about 2 weeks later. I had been awake before that, but not really awake. Like, I don't remember anything from, like, the first 2 weeks of being in the hospital. I apparently was, like, they thought I was going to die within 2 days of being there. And that's when I guess everybody started kicking in the prayers, you know, like, I couldn't. I was in no shape. I didn't know anything. I had no idea what was going on. And the doctors all pretty much wanted me to be do not resuscitate. They were sending my family home. She's gone. Like, just you try to deal with this on your own. Like, it was just, I guess, the end for me. And, I mean, somehow, like, through the prayers, because my husband started praying a lot, and he spread it out to everybody, and he met some people here in
Well, and it was funny because I remember the reports coming in where it was like, she's in a coma, she's not going to wake up. And then it was like, well, she's awake, but she's going to die within 24 hours. Well, now it's 48 hours. Well, now it's a week. Well, now it's 2 weeks. Well, she has like 2 months to live. And that was how long ago?
Over a year ago now.
Yeah.
Oh, a year and like 2 months.
Because you were what, in kidney or liver failure?
Liver failure, complete, like, end-stage liver failure. Like, you couldn't get worse than where I was. All my all my organs basically were quitting. Like, my kidneys, my spleen, everything. It was just, I was bloated, and it didn't even, like, I've seen pictures, I don't even recognize that person.
Was it like jaundice? You were very orange and...
Yeah, my eyeballs were sticking out. It was crazy, but it was like, I mean, I don't know how to make it as, like, somebody to understand it, just how close to death I was and how God did save me. There's no other way.
Yeah.
There's no explaining it other than that. I know, I do remember when one of the guys, can I say his name?
Sure.
When Mike came, Mike came to see me, and I remember not much of it, but I do remember him promising. Like, he told the bad to go. Mm-hmm. You know, he said, you're not welcome here. You're not allowed here. Get out. And after he visited me that time, I think he came before that, but this was the first time I remember. But after he came to see me that night, I felt like, okay. Like, before his visit, I was up every night screaming and hollering, nightmares. Like, I was the worst patient you could ask for, I guess. But at night I slept, and I woke up, and I was seeing, like, snakes in the ceiling. Like, it was crazy. But that night I didn't see anything. Like, I was calm and I felt safe, which was, like, so weird, because for as long as I could think, I was just seeing things, and I was so scared, and I didn't feel so scared anymore after I saw him. And that alone was God, you know, coming and telling me it's going to be okay, and came through Mike, and, you know, just... Yeah. But, so of course I did end up getting better. All the prayers paid off. Like, I'm a miracle. There's no explanation. They cannot explain why I'm alive, except for what I know is God and the prayers that were given to me. Because there's no human being could save me. Like, this is a miracle. I don't understand why.
Yeah. And how long have you been dry for now?
I've been clean since April 24th of last year, so over a year and a couple of months.
That's awesome.
I know, and that's the one thing. It's different. Like, I feel I have a relationship with God, and I've been developing it through you guys. Every time you've come to see me at home, it's been uplifting, and it's made me more motivated to get more into the books and into just talking to God. Like, to have him in my life is so amazing, and it's because of you guys mostly. Like, that's how I was finally really introduced to a relationship and to God. Like, I'm not scared of him. There's nothing to be scared of, and honestly, I'm not even scared of dying anymore. Like, I know before I was terrified, because if I died, I was going to hell because I was drinking. And now, I have a relationship with God, and I'm doing what I need to do. But I did get baptized too.
Yes, you did.
Which was amazing. That was like so cool. I didn't think I could, because I was baptized as a child in the Catholic religion, but it was so cool when I got to get baptized. Like, I felt different. Like, you guys dunked me, and I came up, and I felt like the complete different person. It was amazing. I don't understand that either. It's just God's been working in my life a lot. And I'm finally seeing and understanding more about it. I'm starting a women's group study with my mother-in-law and some of her friends. It's Bible study.
That's awesome.
Women, about Jesus and women, like the relationships that they had. I'm really excited about that. And I get to have a closer relationship with my husband's mom, which, a few years ago, she didn't really know me.
Yeah.
Nobody really knew me. They just knew I was there, and I was quiet, and I was kind of yellow.
Well, every time I see you, you seem healthier, both spiritually, mentally. You seem physically. Like, every time I see you, I'm like, is this like? I remember you came in to get baptized, and I was like, "Who are you?" And you were like, "Olivia." I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Because last time I had seen you, we were praying for that. You were still in liver failure.
Oh yeah, that was it. I'm still sick. That's one thing to say. I was in liver failure, and I'm not in end-stage liver failure anymore. I'm not on the transplant list anymore. I'm not drinking, which is helping me stay that way. Mm-hmm. I think it's been about 6 months since I was off the list, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Such a relief. But I'm still sick, and I still have to follow like certain things. I gotta take care of myself differently now because I am sick, but it's nothing. It's worth it. It's just a thing now. I'll do whatever I have to stay healthy and alive, and the way things are. I appreciate life. Like, flowers, I've been planting like a maniac. Mm-hmm. I never planted a flower in my life until like this last year. I've just really been enjoying everything. Like, I drive by houses, and I see their flowers, and never did that. Never ever. Like, maybe I'd notice a car or something strange in somebody's yard, but never flowers. But I feel God in me. He's working in me, and he's showing me his beauty and what he has to offer me and the world. Like, he's just, I'm blessed. Sick or not, I'm here, and I'm appreciating every day. Because, I may only have like a little bit. I may not have.
We each only have whatever we got.
And the cool thing is, and it's been because of praying with you guys, I'm not afraid. Maybe it's 12 years, but maybe it'll be 20. What it is, it is. And
well, first it was 2 days, and then it was
2 weeks, and 2 months. But
it's just so, thank you for coming in and sharing your story, because it's just so clear that God is just transforming you from the inside out. So thanks for coming in and sharing that.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time here on the 167.